and welcome to Radio Friends on this day. We're glad to have you with us. Sean Spence is here. And you know, I always enjoy chatting with Sean Spence, but I got to tell you, Sean, today when you came in here and you started telling me some of this stuff, it bothers me.
It can be scary. You never asked me to come talk about happy things, Paul.
Okay, well let's talk. We're in the tax preparation season right now. Let's talk about why it's so important to hold on to your tax papers.
Well, Paul, because if there is a problem, they could be the only thing between you and fines or even jail time, any number of problems that you might have with the IRS. We've got a great example here in town. In
Columbia.
Yeah, in Columbia. Just within the last couple of months, we've had a gentleman. I've actually met him. Anybody who's involved with the chamber has met him at one time or another. And he's a tax preparer who got arrested because he was not filing people's tax returns for years.
Wait. He was doing their tax returns, but he was not filing them?
Right. And so
wouldn't these people realize that their tax returns had not been filed? What if they were due a refund?
They would get, those were probably the ones that he was filing, but they would get letters from the IRS saying, we have not received your taxes for X number of years. And they would call him and he would say, oh, no, it's a mistake. I'll take care of it. It's no big deal. And he strung people along for years. I mean, he's doing 2 years in prison right now for exactly what we're talking about. And so this happened right here. So it's a great reminder for us. Keep your tax paperwork for at least 3 years. I tend to recommend 7. If you've got any kind of complications, the IRS recommends 7 years if you're doing lots of deductions or whatever. So just to be safe, keep everything for 7 years. Then if you have to argue with the IRS because of a situation like this or anything else, you're in a much better position to do that.
Okay, now these people who had their taxes prepared by this guy.
Yes.
Who was not filing them.
Right, but was taking their tax check, and he would say, oh, don't write it to the IRS, write it to me.
Oh, you mean what they owed the IRS, if they owed money?
If they owed money, then he would take the check himself, and he would just cash it. So he
would tell them to write the amount of tax money they owed to the IRS, write it to him, and he would take care of sending it. Now, come on. Now, people have got to realize that this may not be on the up and up. Nobody caught on to this?
He's in prison, so sure, somebody caught on to
it. After the IRS is calling them and saying...
Right, but it took years. It took years for this to catch up with him. He was bilking people out of hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, for years, and finally he's in prison, but those people, they're not getting that money back.
No, and they are going to pay fines.
Right, and they're going to be in hot water, and if they don't have the documentation to back up what they're saying, they're going to be in trouble.
So not only did they pay their taxes to this guy who kept the money, but now they owe the back taxes to the IRS plus the penalty that goes with that.
That is exactly right. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, and it's no consolation that he's in prison because they still owe the money.
Right. And there's no way out of that, is it?
Not really, no.
Okay, so what's the solution here? Make sure that whoever you have your taxes prepared with,
certainly what you have to do is make sure that you're checking out your CPA or your accountant. If you're getting letters from the IRS...
That should be a red flag.
It should be a huge red flag. And if it's me, I'm checking it out myself. I'm not just trusting my CPA. Right. I want to talk to the IRS. I want to make sure that things are getting taken care of.
And one thing is, don't write the check to your CPA.
Right.
Write it to the IRS.
Yes.
Write it to the IRS.
That is exactly right.
Okay. Now, here's another scam, and this has been in the news. You get a phone call. Mm-hmm. It's a recorded call, right?
It can be recorded. It can be live. Either one.
And the first thing they say is, oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And then if you hear them, you say, yes.
Just because it's human nature to say yes. Right. Yeah, I like to talk about this one because it's just such a perfect example of a scam that really any smart person could fall for. You don't have to be uneducated. You don't have to be not so smart. Anybody could fall for this.
Okay, so when they ask you, can you hear me? And you say yes, What are they doing with that yes?
They're recording that yes, and then what they're doing is they're calling people who they've already stolen their information, either through buying a database somewhere or stealing it from whatever they've stolen it from, and then they're using that yes in automated phone systems that we've all participated in, where there's an automated system that says, do you want to transfer money or whatever?
And you say yes or no.
And you say yes, and they've got your yes, and if they've got your other information, they're able to do lots of pretty bad stuff with it. So what you want to do is just know that this could happen, and just it's another reminder, you got to be careful.
Oh, Sean.
Someday you're going to ask me to come here to talk about flowers and puppies.
Okay, here, one more. What QuickBooks? What are you talking about here?
Well, in tax season, we're all dealing with, if we're dealing with our own tax, we're dealing with QuickBooks or something else. QuickBooks is the largest system that people use to do their accounting, and you might get an email that looks like it is from QuickBooks asking you for account information, asking you for passwords, asking you for things, and this is a phishing scam, which means a fake email scam. They're just trying to steal your information so they can get into your account, so they can steal your money or your identity.
Okay. If people want more information on any of this, or if they feel like they have been part of a scam, what do?
They can contact us at the Better Business Bureau. That is literally my job, is to help people in situations like this. They can call me and say, look into this for me, Sean, and I will do that. We have a team of people who will look into things if it's necessary.
So your team of people, are they going to get their money, they're going to give them their money back, the people who...
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, and we are successful.
So there is a possibility that some of these people could get their money back.
The best way to keep your money is to not get scammed in the first place, which is why we're on this show, to warn people.
Right. How do they contact you at the Better Business Bureau?
They're welcome to give me a call, 573-886-8965, or they can look at midmobbb.org and get all of our information.
On the website.
That's right.
Okay. Does it ever surprise you about the scams that just keep evolving and coming out? Do you ever say, wow, boy, this one is really something?
I say that in one way or another, probably week in and week out, because they're constantly evolving, they're getting smarter, and it just means that we have to be smarter and we have to pay more attention.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, keep in mind, there really is no free lunch. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And then as we go into springtime, there's going to be probably scams about coming and fixing your driveway up when they've got just a little bit of asphalt left over. They can come and take care of you.
Just a little bit.
Okay, watch out for that. Sean, thank you so much for coming by. Sean Spence from Better Business Bureau.
Thanks, Paul.
We're out of time for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. Bye-bye.